Alright. Okay, I guess I'll make a quick video on the life stacking Rehan since honestly there isn't really a lot of guides out there for this, and even when I was trying to make it I had to piece together like I guess some stuff together on my own accord. So okay, I mean again I am not like a master at making this life stacking Rehan or something, right? I am just trying to play this like archetype I guess. Okay, so I mean this is what I have like essentially gathered so far. So the damage is about 3 point something trillion now, right? It kind of varies a little bit, but it's about there. Okay, so how does this build work? Okay, so again there's going to be multiple avenues of scaling, right? So obviously the first thing is we are stacking life. Okay, so what does that even do? Okay, first of all, I mean Rahan 2 itself. Okay, let's look at our hero trait. So one big thing is that, okay, all our max resistances are fixed at 45%, and we have 1.2% additional max health for every 5% that one of your highest resistance exceeds max res. Right, so basically we just want to stack a specific res like way past our maximum, right? Because it's gonna give us a lot of life. Okay, which at I guess right now I have about 36k. I think quite a few people have like 40k ish plus, right? I mean, depending whether you have the pets, things like that, whether you have like T0 additional life mods, okay, and your implicits as well, right? Mine are complete ass. Okay, so now that you have a bunch of life, okay, what does that even do? Okay, so the helmet makes it so that, okay, first of all, whenever we attack, as you can see, right, your life jumps like a lot, right? We are using or we are consuming our life with every hit, right? And we are essentially regenerating it back really fast with life regain. Okay, so I'm going in somewhat of a loop right now, okay, because there is quite a lot to talk about. Okay, so for every 4,000 life you consume recently, you get damage and you get attack speed. Okay, and non-full life will also be considered as low life, and you get some life here. Okay, so these are like the required units that you need. Okay, so we need a helmet and we need the gloves. Okay, so the gloves gives you additional fists to attacks for every 3.3k life consumed recently, stacks up to 200 times. So that is the basis or the fundamentals of how everything works, right? We want to consume life in order to convert it to damage. Okay, so those are the two parts. Okay, next, okay, we are using Berserking Blade because it has nice AoE, right? So Berserking Blade is a what do you call it? Okay, it's a steep strike skill. So we can also scale steep strike damage in order to scale berserking blade damage. Okay, so our amulet here has additional steep strike damage. You can also get this mod corrupted, which gives you additional damage as well. And of course, we want fire rest. So we are also stacking fire rest wherever we can in order to get more resistances, right? In order to take advantage of that Rehan 2 trait. Okay, on to the next piece of gear. So now, Flaming Evil. This is a very, very insane chest, right? So it gives you 3.9% crit damage per 1% fire res. So right now, at 372 fire res, right? 372. This chest piece is giving me, let's see, 1 point. That doesn't even make sense. If we take 3 point, oh wait, sorry, it does make sense. 3.9 times, what's this? Let me do some math. What's our rest now? 3.9 times 372 is about 1.45, 1450 crit damage, about there. Right, so our crit strike damage now is at 1.8k, right? So it's pretty insane. This this chest piece is giving us 1.4k crit damage, right? Kind of crazy. Okay, so most of these are uniques, which is great because it just means that you could get started pretty easily, right? If we're looking at the helmet, I corrupted all of these myself, so I got very lucky on this. But if you had to, I mean, I'll just take the damage, right? Um, I think this corrupted line alone is not that bad. It's like, let's just see, right? It's like 1.8. It's not the cheapest, but it's not that bad either, considering the amount of damage that you can get. Okay, next. Okay, we have a belt. Okay, so Eternal Sun, right? Same thing. Max life, fire res. That's really great. Okay, but you do take additional damage taken while you have energy shield. So how do we stop this, right? So no loose end makes it so that your max energy shield is fixed at 0 and you have 50% additional attack damage at low life, right? So our helmet makes it so that non-full life is considered low life, which pretty much we are always considered low life because we're consuming life to attack anyways. So that's great, right? It's just a permanent 50% additional attack damage essentially. Okay, for our ring, we're using Frozen Flame. Gives us a little bit of fire rest here, gives us fire rest here. So as always, good fire rest. Triggers boost reach on hit, and power skill and max life. So basically all the things that we want, right, in the build. Fire rest, life. Pretty much you get the idea. Okay, continuing with that theme. Boots, life, fire rest, life. Makes sense. Ring, same thing. Life, fire rest. Okay, in this case I have some strength here. Okay, something very, very interesting. So, okay, there is a double curse setup that you could do, right? With Timid, for example, right? You could get, I call that curse with Timid on hit on the ring. Um, but let's just take a look, right? So I did make a ring, right? I did make a ring, and turns out that when I have this ring, okay, compared to my current ring, and I was using double curse, right? I could confirm it on the dummy. I was getting about the same damage. So I wouldn't exactly force myself to get a double curse setup because in the end, I was doing about the same damage, which kind of doesn't make sense to me, but maybe the decks that I lost from that Dreamcraft makes up for like that 40%, which kind of makes sense, right? Because there's 30% additional skill damage. So, okay, that's honestly on me. So, okay, timid setup would probably be pretty good, right? Yeah, I guess 60 decks is about 30% additional damage. Okay, you can get a timid curse on hit ring, and you'll probably be fine, right? Do a double curse setup, you'll probably get more damage. I have one of these, which I think is pretty good considering that we are doing majority physical damage. So you see, I just have a bunch of lightning damage on top of that for free, right? Free damage. So that's pretty good. Okay, weapon. Um, Many sequences are a lot better than this. It's just that, it's quite expensive to roll this anyways. So I would just keep whatever is usable. Okay, weapon damage does not matter for this build, right? Because we're getting so much flat fist anyways from this. We don't actually need anything from the weapon in terms of weapon damage. So what we have here is melee damage, which is generic melee damage. Strength, attack skill level, gear attack speed. This is wanted. We do want to attack faster. Steep strike damage and crit strike rating. So we have a lot of crit damage from the chest, but we don't have a lot of crit strike rating. So you do want to get this um, elevated wherever you can. In fact, this should be T0. Okay, so that's it for the weapon. For the shield, just some armor, damage, mitigation, penetration, skill level, max life, some res, crit strike rating, and Warcry effect. Honestly, I mean, just look at the res. This is not a great look, but I would say that if you are hitting something, okay, you are fundamentally kind of immortal because you regen so much health per hit. Um, yeah, but you will occasionally die to one shots, right? Because you know there are like periods. For example, if you are like whirling blade, if you use whirling blades, right? Like you will consume your life, and you see it drops down to like 5,000, 4,000. Like you will definitely get one shot if you hit that amount, right? And you get hit by something big. Okay, so this is definitely an issue, but I mean, if you really wanted to, you could swap like some rest here, swap some rest here. Don't get as much fire rest, but you have less health and less damage and less everything. So, I mean, it's really up to you whether you want to sacrifice survivability for damage, right? For me, I feel like it's completely fine for now. Right, I'm not doing any content that particularly requires me to have no deaths. Uh, yep. Okay, sequence. Obviously, you can get something better. This is not great. Right, this is like some additional damage, but yep, you can probably find something better than this. Okay, now on to our skills. I guess you can just take a look at this. So for mapping, I would change this to will. Um, sorry. I'll change willpower to like additional skill area because it feels nicer. We have a Timid Curse, Spiral Strike, War Cry, Fixate. Okay, Steadfast, Fearless, Magus, and Cruelty. Okay, so this is going to be something very important. Also, my weapon sequence makes it so that I have to use Precise Discipline, otherwise I can't fit in all my auras. So that's pretty bad too. So yep. Okay, why are you running Determination or Steadfast? Right. So when we talk about our packs, which is very important, okay, I'll mention this again. Okay, in terms of candles, we just want what you call that blessing while standing still because we are always standing still. We are just whirling blades around, right? Using whirling blades to move around the map. So we are pretty much always stationary or standing still. Okay, next we have rebirth. So this is pretty important. Basically, it makes our life steal to life over time, right? So it gives us a nice little like buffer. So for example, even if I stop hitting, right, like my health regens for a while, right, I can pretty much, yeah, for a little bit, right, we do get a little bit of sustain. So that's nice. Otherwise, yep, you'll have periods where you have zero life for sure. Okay, what else? So those are candles done. Okay, my fusing luck is really bad. If you can, I will combine this additional max damage of standing still together with like any of these mods. That would be nice, right? 25% additional max damage. Useful. Okay, what else? Let's talk about packs. So honestly, like these are I wouldn't even say very required. Like even if I were to swap this off, the damage is still gonna be fine. So just use whatever attack damage pets you can get, right? It's completely fine. Okay, let's talk about this. So I am using Explode, totally unnecessary. I just wanted to have Explode on the build because I like Explode. Okay, what is somewhat fundamental is this. Okay, so Fire and the Stone makes it so that we have 100 Fire Rest, which is very, very big. 100 Fire Rest is 390 crit damage from the chest alone, and it gives us a whole bunch of max life from our passive, right? Our hero traits. So we definitely need Fire and the Stone. It's a very big boost in our damage. Okay, then everything else you kind of just want to slap on Fire Rest there, right? Um, yeah, if you really wanted to min max, I mean, all of these should be 7 Fire Rest, right? Because they're not very expensive. Okay, apart from that, we have talked about packs, blah blah blah. Oh, let's talk about talents. So I'll just roughly skim through here. Okay, look at that. Look at that. Okay, here, Formless is pretty good. Static is also pretty good. So just consider all of these when thinking about your pedigree later. Okay, so Static, Formless are all pretty good. Okay, for Warrior here, okay, I'll talk about Arcane later on. But you see, all of these are all pretty good. Don't take Survival Will because you're always at low life, so don't bother with this. Okay, Arcane, no loose ends, life paths. It's all things that we want, right? We are getting from Pedigree, getting from Belt, or straight up just taking it from the tree right here. Okay? Okay, Lich, we are running off the beaten track, of course, right? So we can run our fat 50% auras. Okay, my slate setup is not good at all. Okay, I'm gonna say that right now. I'm basically using singular, what do you call it? It's just singular mods on all of these. Okay, like all of these don't matter at all. Okay, we only want this regain interval one and consume life when you use attack skills. So I am using a prairie. Um, I was not using this before. Before I swapped to this, I was just running like a whole bunch of these Corner of Divinities, right? And it was still fine. I was still hitting like 2 trillion. Okay, but I mean, eventually I did get a bunch of these, but I have yet to fix my actual slates yet because I kind of want to swap the build. I want to play something new. You know, I've already played this for a few days, so kind of want to swap off. Okay, things that you also want, right? You want minimum number of enemies affected by Warcry plus 5. So every time we Warcry, we are pretty much always at 10, which is the max that you can get, if I'm not wrong. Let me just take a look. Right, if you look at Fearless Warcry, so in fact, Stacks up to 8 times, which is very interesting because why does it say 10? Yeah, whatever. Okay, but yep. So we want to stack all of these. The more life you consume, the more damage, the more attack speed, the more everything you get. Okay, so you want to have as many of these. So this right now is giving me 4 lines of these, right? Great. Okay, I also have one single line of steep strike chance here, so that I have 100%. Yep. Okay, this is ass. This is I guess like it's like a 200 FE. Like it doesn't matter. Okay, what we want is arcane, or right, you could get life path, static, whatever, no loose ends you could get. Just make sure you have one of those like everywhere. Okay, the good thing is all the generic melee damage stuff works here. So things that are really good, falling leaves, gravity for example, they're all pretty good, right? Falling leaves is another 40% damage because we don't care about our weapon damage, right? We only care about attack damage. So that is the slate setup. Mm, I think that's pretty much everything. Maybe we can just run a quick map. Uh, this is not that great. Okay, whatever. So this is a full compass, I guess, with minus 20% damage done as well. Full resonance, everything. Okay, we'll just run a quick map. Oh, great. So we have this. Am I using AoE? Yep, I am using AoE. So, okay, in general, you just kind of walk around, everything gets immediately destroyed, at least in profound, right? So, okay, one thing to note is that, okay, because of our hero trait, oh, I forgot to talk about memories, but I guess we'll talk about it. Can we talk about it now? Sorry. Okay, let's just look at memories real quick. So, we have dex here, because you can use trade-off if you can balance your dex and strength. We have life, attack speed, crit damage, life crit damage. Honestly, I would forego crit damage for anything else. Go and get area, like skill area, get attack speed, get anything else, right? Because we have way too much crit damage. Each point of crit damage is giving us diminishing returns, so you don't really need crit damage, right? So yeah, attack speed and crit strike rating would probably be better than those. Okay, so we have too much crit damage now. So here, okay, I hope this doesn't get like demonetized or some shit for having the stupid ad sound, right? Which is my drop filter sound. Okay, so it's to make sure that I never miss a big drop, because when I hear that, it's like it just means something good is dropping. Okay, so I mean this is pretty decent for the league mechanic, right? Like pretty much everything dies. You don't really need to care too much. Okay. Okay, we don't actually need to clear that, so I'm not gonna bother. So you see, times like these where you have nothing to hit, right? What you can do is you let go of like standing still and you pretty much be on full health, right? So that's how you solve the issue of sometimes not having, uh, yep, having no health when running around, I guess. Right, but the moment you hit anything, right, your life will just go straight back to max. Okay, so these are the nuances of the build. Okay, so hopefully we hit something big in the cube. All right, come on, give me something massive, please. Okay, so cube pet proc. Is that what's that? Okay, that's not that great. Okay, looks like we're getting doo doo again. Okay, whatever. It is what it is. Okay, not that great. But yep. Okay, so I think that is essentially the whole build. Um, yep. In terms of getting upgrades, okay, so slates is a big one where you can upgrade. Obviously, go and get T0 for all of these. I can guarantee you, you're pretty much gonna hit 5 trillion for sure. And of course, upgrade this to higher life. And you don't even need this line, to be honest. It's just that ultimate embers are really expensive. Okay, so can't afford to roll these anymore because I am saving up for the next build. Right? Secret build. Ooh, 23 desire cost. Okay, but okay, hopefully this helps you if you want to start on this journey. Okay, all these uniques are honestly relatively okay. If you want to just farm profound, you don't need 3 trillion damage plus plus plus. Yep, and that's all I think I have for today. So hopefully you enjoy the build. And yep, that is all I have. Alright, thanks for watching a wet puddle. This has been a pretty long video, so yeah, play this while you are farming or something. Alright, bye bye.